Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. We are live and back at it again, folks. It's a Thursday night, and we have your AEW WrestleDream prediction and previews tonight as we're going to dive into all the fun that's coming this Saturday. We will be live for it as well. Make sure you get in that chat, click all the buttons, be a part of the show, be a part of the family, and strap in, strap on, grab your snacks, grab your feel good. It's going to be a fun one. Let's go. Ding, ding, ding. We're live and back at it again, folks. Like I said, we are the Wrestling for Life Network. This is another live stream as we are here to bring you our predictions and preview for tonight or for Saturday night with WrestleDream. And we're going to dive into all of it here tonight. I see that chat filling up already. Make sure you get in there. Click those little buttons. Give us some love. Give the algorithm a massage as we bring you all that we think about this weekend. It's going to be an interesting one. Lots to talk about, lots to get into, but me and these pretty faces got you for the next little while as we dial into all of it. But without further ado, I am Mr. Every Night, KJ White, the Iron Man of YouTube. That is Anthony, the chapeau that runs the show. That is Big Nick.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Wrestling for Life Network proudly brings to you its YouTube tag stream trios, champions of the world. The chapeau that runs the show, Ringsider Anthony, the Every Night Delight, KJ White. I am Big Nick, and yes, I want to take this though from MDB already in the chat of it's not exactly WrestleDream. It seems more like WrestleNap. This card,
WrestleNap. Ooh, not the tone we were hoping to start this one on, but a very interesting card, being that we've come off a lot of cards lately for AEW. This one, I don't know how you guys feel. I mean, there's potential here. The two matches on our screen below us, definitely lots of potential there, but it does feel a little bit rushed. Like, I mean, we talked about the excitement for a 6-match card. This is an 11-match card so far. And again, it just feels like some of the matches we could do without being on the pay-per-view.
Yeah, absolutely. It's given no thought. Like, it's giving this was done by a child. Like, it's like they just threw this together and was like, let's put this on a pay-per-view and make people pay 60 or 50 bucks to watch random matches happen. Now that is what WrestleDream is given for me.
It feels like a special Dynamite. It doesn't feel like a pay-per-view. That's really what it is. Like, there are still some really good matches, like the triple threat, like you talked about, the world title match, Mariah May, Willow. There's potential for some good matches here, but they're good Dynamite matches. They're not good pay-per-view matches. Like Anthony said, I don't want to pay $60 for some stuff that I could see for free on Wednesday.
That's a reminder, folks. Don't forget, we have the super chat, super stickers, and the membership if you want to help us pay for pay-per-views like this one.
Right?
Yeah, again, and it's funny because we just came off Title Tuesday where it felt a little lackluster. It didn't feel like a Title Tuesday. Didn't have that je ne sais quoi, that extra little pep in its step. And again, I mean, I'm hoping they overachieve. I hope it's exciting. I hope it's fun. But yeah, I mean, again, we're going to get into each of these matches, break them down, and give our thoughts on it. But hello to everybody out there. If you are new here, don't forget, we are back tomorrow for SmackDown. We are here Saturday. We will be live at 6:30 p.m. For WrestleDream, and we will be here for 0 hour and all through the show. So make sure you join us as we watch more live wrestling than anybody else out there. And yeah, we just do it on a different level. But hello to all the names popping up in that chat. Boys, you just want to start getting into some matches?
Yeah.
There's a handful to get through. So
pull the Band-Aid off. Let's go.
Right.
Let's go. They put this one on the 0 hour card. Generally, we don't do pre-show matches for predictions, but why not? We're already here. I did not realize something. Bad wrestling fan. But Atlantis Jr. is the Ring of Honor TV champion. So this is a championship match.
It shows you how much they've built up and they've propped up Ring of Honor and how much Ring of Honor has really mattered.
That's true. And a little surprising in the sense of neither one of these guys have had any presence on the show as of late. I don't know if Anthony or anybody else has seen them, but I haven't.
No.
No, I haven't seen him at all. And I still wonder why Ring of Honor titles are shown on AEW television. I still don't understand why that's still happening, but I don't make the decisions.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Now, this match, I would love to say there's intrigue with it. It's a pre-show match. Not much going into it, but Brian Cage never wins, so I'm going to pick Atlantis Jr. to get to the point.
We go with the Lucha. I gotta go with Brian Cage.
You're going to go Brian Cage. New
I'm going to go Brian Cage because I don't know too much about Atlantis Jr., what have you. So I'm going with Brian Cage. And I mean, maybe something. Maybe the guy wins something here. It's a Ring of Honor belt. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Brian Cage as well. I at least know a little bit about Brian Cage. I've never heard of Atlantis Jr., never seen him wrestle or anything. So I'm gonna take Brian Cage. I'm with Nick on this one.
There you go. There you go. So folks, you can get your 2 cents in after this one. I'll actually put a poll up for the next one, but Anthony popping the whole show. Are they outrunners on the pay-per-view? No, they're not. Yeah, Cage might actually win. So I like Latinos. Haseen with
Confession Hour with the Wrestling for Life Network.
Right. Well, it is Heritage Month. So there you go. Atlantis Morissette for the win. I love it. I got one hand in my pocket. The other one's flipping the bird. But all right, we don't have to really go too much further into this barn burner of a pre-show match. A lot of people, I wouldn't say a lot. I did see some people out there surprisingly excited. Three maybe. Hologram has been added to this card. Mortis has been added to this card. It's an ongoing saga as we now see Jake the Snake somehow get involved with Los Ingobernables.
Yes, there you go. You nailed it. Yeah, he's out there saying just mucho cerveza, por favor. That's all he knows how to say in Spanish. But why, oh, why, Tony Khan? Why stop trying to make Hologram work? Hologram is the future of wrestling. 100%. I'm just so sick and tired of this on my screen all the time in every goddamn match. A 2 out of 3 falls match. The first match that they had was fucking sloppy jalopy as it was. So why we got to see this now 3 times in a row?
Right.
It's not working. Quit trying to force it. It's like the Roman Reigns effect. He's just going to try and shove it down our throat as much as he can. Pause. Until he hopes it gets over.
I feel like this is a Mean Girls quote, but stop trying to make fetch happen.
Yes,
I think that was Mean Girls. Yeah. So like I'm with Nick. Stop trying to make this happen. Now, granted, there was a match recently I seen with Hologram. It might have been this past Tuesday. If not, it was decent. I actually enjoyed it. But still, I don't think it's I don't think the character is over with the audience at all. So yeah, I'm not. I don't. This is like as of many that will come. I don't care about this match.
That's
exactly.
This is the funniest prediction show we've ever done as a channel. I love it. Again, I mean, it's got potential. I think this might be a bit of a botch fest. But I mean, Mortis gets pulled into LGI. Roosh, they made a big deal. They took pictures when he signed. Like Roosh is going to be something. Now it's Roosh, Dragalistico, and Mortos. My favorite.
And you can't forget good old Jake.
And now Jake, who traded Lance Archer in the process.
He lost in that trade. He lost in that trade.
3 dudes.
Got 3 scrubs. Nah, Rush is solid. I like Dragalistico, but yeah, no, I don't. It's an odd pairing. This match is going to be sloppy jalopy, I feel. Hologram to me is, I still stand by this. It's Tony Khan's creator wrestler. Anytime Tony Khan played 2K24 or anything like that, he made himself to be Hologram. When he was out there on the message boards in his e-feds and, posting on Facebook, online and everything like that, he envisioned himself like Hologram. And now he's getting to live that vicariously out there. It's the Vince McMahon thing. Everybody always talks about how Vince would take somebody and then make them this character that he wanted them to be. That's what Tony Khan's finally done with Hologram, and it's not working, homie.
Do you think that's what it is? Do you think that like vicariously he's living through Hologram? Like, if I was a wrestler, I would be Hologram.
100%. 150%. Because think about it. He's put this man in such a position that he's out there. He's got a goddamn streak like Goldberg.
Yeah.
They made a big deal about his Dynamite debut. His whole premiere and everything when he first debuted was a whole fucking spectacle. I'm waiting for them to sit there and put this man in a world title opportunity.
It's getting there. I mean, I would imagine like if you had guys like Ricochet, you have had other guys, we talk about Jay White or Juice or the Ricky Starks of like, if they got this much love from the boss, man, where could they be as far as getting over?
Right.
Yeah, especially like you said, Ricky Starks is one of them. Like if he got this big of a push, like where would he be at this moment?
Right. But all right. So everyone picking a hologram? Hologram?
Oh. I want to take Mortos. I want to take Mortos just because, just spite. I hate this character so much. Please lose. Just please lose. I'm sick of you already. And I hope that Los Ingobernables does potentially get involved, and that's what maybe helps him get the last fall or something like that. Like maybe Jake plays a part, and that's what gets it. You kind of got to cement Jake being in this group. I know we've said it's weird, but if you're going to do it, you got to cement it. So maybe, and like I said, I'm bashing this character enough. I can't pick him to win.
I mean, like you said, he's giving him the Goldberg type run. Yeah. I don't think that's going to stop right now. So it has to be hologram. So I'm going with hologram.
Yeah. 73% of the chat is picking hologram. So 26% holding on some hope that maybe hologram gets screwed. But yeah, I kind of agree with the assessment of like, this feels like this Goldberg push unnecessarily for a guy that brings no extra eyes. Nobody's tuning in just to see hologram. It's unfortunate, but yeah, I'm going with the chat. I'm going with Anthony that hologram takes this W.
Do you think it's 2-0 straight? Like he just goes both balls right in a row, or do we trade him and then he gets the last one?
It's gonna be like a 25-minute match. Watch.
I don't know. If they botch like within the first 5 minutes, it might be a 7-minute match after that.
Let's not hope for that.
He sat there and tried to pin this man, just doing, cross stitch with his legs and everything. Well, I'm touching him, so it's a pinfall, right? No, you fucking fool.
Well, next match on the docket. This one's got a little more intrigue. Two guys I'm a really big fan of, even though I found it weird that Darby said they were going to do like a Darby open challenge, and then we didn't even wait to the show to get the surprise. Some people thought it might be Bobby or Shelton. And it turns out Brody King wants to beat up Darby Allin, which, they have a history, but, this seems out of left field a little bit.
This feels like a match for Darby just to get thrown around and then eventually get the pinfall victory. He's in there with a huge guy like Brody King who can throw him from pillar to post. And it'll be an entertaining match in that way because these two guys are going to go hell for leather at each other. But Darby does look like a bit of a fool here. This is where he was supposed to be challenging Danielson, or could have been challenging Danielson for the world title. But instead now he's out here taking on Brody King. It's not a Sami Callihan showing up. It's not a Bobby Lashley, like you said. It's not a Shelton. It's just him versus Brody King.
Yeah, and I was just about to ask that. Like, wasn't he in prime position to challenge for the AEW World Championship? That's what I thought. But this is going to be a match that I'm not going to be a Debbie Downer on. I'm actually a little bit excited to see this match. I like Darby Allin. I think Darby Allin is very, very talented in AEW, and Brody King is as well. I think these two will have a great match. And I'm really looking forward to it. I'm hopeful that one day Darby Allin is not with AEW so he can show more of his ability. I don't know where he can go. Maybe with the turn of what's happening with WWE, he can end up there. His character also will work very, very well in a TNA atmosphere too. But yeah, I'm actually kind of looking forward to Darby Allin versus Brody King.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the match in itself. I like Darby a lot. I think there's a lot of potential. I was actually petitioning for him to beat Daniel Bryan, and clearly, thanks to the booking, I look like an idiot because I was way off. Not only did he not get the title shot at Grand Slam, then he loses his title shot to Moxley, and now he gets to take on this giant mountain of a man. I like these two guys. I think there's a lot of potential here. These are two guys I think could be booked better. We see the fan base talk a lot about, oh, I can't believe they buried so and so, or they're doing this guy dirty, or how come so and so's not on a pay-per-view? Well, this is a perfect example of like poor Darby, as Stoner Jesus said.
Yeah, no, I 100. I was just doing the Stoner Jesus with you, but yeah, no, 100% of. I like the match. I like both guys involved in it. I just don't like how we got here. Like this to me is, again, like I said, it just feels like a Dynamite match. This does not feel like a pay-per-view match.
Yeah, it's not like a blood feud. I know they had a mini rivalry before. Remember when Brody showed up at one of the Comic Cons and choked him out, and then Darby showed up at a concert and got thrown off the stage. Like, I mean, but at the same time, I mean, it's just rough. Like, but if interesting enough, it does make the match a little tricky to call.
I don't know. I think this has to be Darby here. Darby has to get the win here after everything. If he turns around and loses here, now you look it's even more poor Darby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement with Nick that I think Darby needs this win the most.
Yeah. I can't imagine Darby losing. Small guys tend to beat the big guys. 87% of the chat think it's going to be Darby. Darby needs to win. Darby needs some good fucking karma, some good luck.
Yeah, after everything, after losing the title opportunity, all of that, I even getting pinned by Jack Perry, going back to the Blood and Guts and everything like that, or was that Stadium Stampede? I get their stipulations run together so much I get confused. But Darby needs at least some bit of momentum. Although I will disagree with you, Anthony. There is no place outside of like a GCW Darby's going to go to or would fit in with or anything. Of the amount of times that this man just wants to do self-mutilation and jump through panes of glass.
But I think that's like the Jeff Hardy vibe. If you put him in an environment that can control it.
Do you think he actually would want to go there and do that?
Really close with Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is the reason he ended up in this company. So again, he might be extremely loyal to AEW, so maybe he never leaves. But I mean, again, I think being that there is some charisma and some ability, I think if he was put in the right environment, it could maybe a Cody nudge in the right direction, but I don't imagine it's going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah, no, his loyalties lie with AEW. Brody's a guy I could see somewhere else more than anything.
I think Darby is an AEW lifer. Where else will he be the face of the company and showcase like AEW? Which was true up until recently, where he had, like, since Sting's gone, Darby's been not nearly as important.
No, that's why he's in this whole match. He's not going for a title. He's not, going at the TNT title, not nothing. He's not in a prominent feud at all.
Right. All right. So we're all taking Darby. The chat's taking Darby. Any other thoughts on this, Diddy?
No, Diddy didn't do this.
Yeah.
A match that got added on Tuesday. Jay White has made his return. Adam Page has been beating up members of the Bullet Club, and Jay White is here to avenge his friends. Interesting.
I think this will be a really great match. I don't know how I feel about the story and how we got here so far.
Fair enough. That's the running theme.
Yeah, well, a bit. That's, I mean, you get Hangman Page in there. Hangman has been on fire lately. I've actually been a fan of him outside of, sticking needles and everything. He's been solid. His character work's been great. His promo's been great. His in-ring stuff, again, when he's not smashing chairs over heads and everything, is great. Jay White, is going to deliver, and hopefully this is him getting a bit more of a prominent push within AEW. So like I said, I really like the components of this match. I just wish I had more to feel invested into the match.
Hangman is one of my favorites in AEW. I think I only own a Hangman shirt from AEW. That's it. That's like the only merchandise I own. So Hangman has always been one of my favorites. And even when he was world champion, I know a lot of people said that his reign was very boring, but I enjoyed it because I like Hangman Adam Page. Jay White, I've seen Jay White's best work in New Japan and in TNA. He hasn't really gotten that full swing here in AEW. I'm with Nick, hopeful that this is kind of his big break, his push in AEW. I like both gentlemen, so this is another match I'm not going to be a Debbie Downer on. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I'm excited for the match because I do like these two guys a lot. Like Jay White signing with AEW was a big deal. People, I know there's been mixed reviews since he signed. And like Nick said, I think Adam Page has been kind of dialed in. I mean, again, as far as a guy that comes out, shows emotion, doesn't he? To me, he doesn't feel like his friends. He doesn't feel like he's just playing like, I'm pretending to be a wrestler. Isn't it fun? He comes in with emotion. I mean, one of the best visuals we've had from AEW in 2024 was the house on fire and him sitting in that chair. So, I mean, this has the potential. It's only like it's been a 1.5 week build, which might be a bit more of the concern. But
Right.
I mean, like Stoner Jesus kind of points out, could this match steal the show?
I think it has the potential to with both guys involved 100% because we know what they're capable of. And like you said, Hangman, this is the most dialed in. This is what we all wanted for Hangman Adam Page as a character, as a gimmick, as a performer, and everything like that, of him at this level. This is what AEW saw with him originally, and he's finally hit it. But yeah, this has the potential to steal the show. Now, granted, it's got some heavy hitters to compete with. We'll get to, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just Hangman Page, Jay not so quite. You like someone someone's shocked that Anthony's
Right.
There you go.
I do like Page. I like Adam Page. I think I own a DMD shirt too. I think those are the only 2 shirts I own from AEW.
Nick sipping on the gin and juice.
Absolutely.
All right. So votes on this one. This one's a little trickier. I will say that the favorite, according to our chat, is Jay White.
Really?
Interesting.
I would say the favorite to me would be Hangman. That's who I'm going with. I mean, he's a guy that once we get the result with the main event with the world title, I think should hopefully go back towards that.
Damian thinks he's going to be champion by the end of the year. But
You only got a few months left, so I wouldn't say that. We're in the nitty gritties here. We got 2 months left. I don't think so. Within 2 months,
right?
I'm taking surprisingly, I'm gonna take Jay White as his return match. If they're gonna start something big with Jay White, he may need to win this one so they can carry on whatever feud they're gonna do if they continue this feud. So I'm gonna take Jay White.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same for the same reason. Short and sweet. He just came back. If he loses, well, then there's really nowhere to go from here.
Yeah.
If he wins, maybe we can build on this, and for down the road, there's something bigger for these two.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, this probably, if like you said, if Jay White loses here, this ends the feud. I think that this could go 2-3 matches. But do you potentially see, and I don't know if we want to talk about them all right now or anything like that, but do you potentially see any surprises of anybody showing up at any times during this show?
Well, during the show, yes, and I think that's going to be the next topic of conversation. But for this match, not really. And I mean, the Bullet Club might help. Page doesn't really have any friends left, so that's a tough sell.
Swerve, because we know Swerve's going to be on the show.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, with a segue point. Yeah, there we go.
There you go. I don't see Swerve showing up during this match. I think Swerve's got business to attend to. If you feel me, folks. If you feel me.
What is it called? What are they trying to call it? The Hurt something Syndicate?
Hurt Syndicate.
Okay.
Which is hilarious. Like, it's the same thing as like CEO. We couldn't call her boss, so we called her CEO. Just come up with something new, completely new.
Right.
But Swerve returns. He's been kind of called out by MVP. I imagine, now I could be wrong, mogul business. Oh, that's rough. Hope not.
Yeah.
What do we see happening here? Is this the debut of Bobby Lashley?
Yep. I think 100%. I think we've been building to it. We've led to it enough. And at this point, it kind of needs to happen. We've already seen all the pieces involved here, and it's a nice way. It would make a big splash on this, and I think you need something like that we've talked about how this card may not be the strongest. You need a big splash that's going to draw attention away from everything. So you have Bobby show up. That's going to be what everybody's going to be talking about.
Yeah.
Now, my question is, do you think Swerve teams up with Bobby, or that's the start of a feud?
I'll let Anthony go first, but yeah.
I find it more of maybe a start of a feud. I don't think Swerve joins whatever hurt thing they're trying to do. Yeah, I feel like it's more of a start of a feud. And I guess we'll have to see where it goes. I hate the fact, and this is not a knock on the Hurt Business or whatever they're gonna call themselves, but I just hate the fact that Tony Khan uses old WWE ideas, like he did it with the Undisputed Kingdom or whatever it was called when they first started, when all of them were there from the Undisputed Era. It's just like I don't want to see a rehash of what they tried to do in WWE, knowing that you're not going to do it any better. So
yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, it's got to be the start of the feud. I can't, like, I think the right answer here is, Bobby comes out, MVP comes out, Shelton comes out. If they got anybody else, bring them out. People think that Mercedes might join the Hurt Syndicate, which, oh God, that's a great way to take that away. And Swerve turns them down. I'm not part of a group. I am the leader of a group. And the idea that Swerve would be the leader of a faction that Bobby Lashley and all those names are in doesn't work for me, brother.
Well, that's the thing I've always based it on of you're going to have Bobby Lashley show up and you need him to be a big star, and you're not going to put him in the same thing with Swerve, because then they're going to kind of cannibalize each other. It's who's supposed to be the leader, who's taken over, or who's this, who's that. It's not exactly like when you had Evolution and you had Randy Orton and Batista develop underneath Triple H and all that. They weren't top guys already then. They were getting built to be top guys. Swerve's a top guy. He doesn't need to be in there with another guy you're trying to start as a top guy. So I think it's the start of a feud. I think maybe Swerve gets his own little kind of feud around him too. Like, I know he's been hanging out with Nduka. And I see Jeff saying that, but maybe Hobbs pairs with him too. Or do you think Hobbs would be with Bobby Lashley?
Lots of rumors around Hobbs. Hobbs would be a good fit. Like, how do you stop that group? I mean, Bobby's huge.
I think you need a guy like Hobbs to face a guy like Bobby, because you don't have too many guys that are the same size as a Bobby.
So like Bobby come out, like maybe a Hobbs comes out to help Swerve, surprisingly.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking more.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Because like Cage, Hobbs, Archer, and Morrissey are probably your only guys in the company that I think stature-wise can go with Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, Swerve would sell us on like the underdog, the David versus Goliath.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, I get, and that's one of the reasons why I'm like a little surprised of how are they going to book this. We've seen Brian Cage and Lance Archer, and the list goes on. We just talked about Brody King. Is Bobby going to be doing jobs to Orange Cassidy and fucking Dragalistico by the end?
He's going to go under to fucking Hologram.
It's like, where do you go after the initial feud with the Hurt Syndicate? Like, who do they feud with next? Like, I don't even know. Like, do you bring what is his name, Wardlow? Like, where is he? Like, I don't.
Oh yeah, he's another one that would go hang with him.
Sorry, what?
No, yeah, 100%. He's out there hanging out with Ricky Starks doing the stakeout, like Cody and Metro Boomin.
Right.
And just waiting for the phone to ring outside of the NXT parking lot. Any minute now, it should be ringing. But Miro would be a guy that could go with Bobby Lashley. I
don't think we ever see Miro back in AEW ever.
Well, yes, I know that, but I mean, you have him on your goddamn roster, so you might as well try and use him. But like Anthony said, Wardlow's a guy that could do it. I could see, again, the way that I see the main event going, I could see a certain person that wins the world title going after Bobby Lashley.
Yeah,
that's the most I'm going to give away before giving away the whole prediction for later on. So.
All right, 100%, 100% of the chat believe that Bobby will show up when Strick shows up. So
it's the first time ever we've actually had 100% agreement, folks. Let's all be proud as wrestling fans. We actually all finally had a true kumbaya moment and all agreed on one thing.
There's always one or two schmarks out there that want to just skew the vote, but yeah, 100%. Where's Keith Lee? As far as I know, he's still dealing with health issues.
Yeah.
So T's and P's to that guy until he comes back.
Absolutely. And yeah, T's and P's, by the way, too, to Luchasaurus, just on a side note. Well, everybody in Florida, and to Luchasaurus especially, of I hope what I read wasn't true, but yeah, T's and P's 100% to that guy.
Yeah, a little mixed reporting on the Luchasaurus situation, and some of it came from Alvarez. But yeah, I mean, again, it's always serious. Again, I mean, when you deal with lung issues, it's hard to recover, and things like pneumonia could leave a lasting effect sometimes. So we hope he just gets back to the a solid quality of life, that he's healthy, and then hopefully we get to see him back in doing what he loves to do. But yeah, it's an unfortunate circumstance for sure.
Right.
Before we get into the last half of our predictions, folks, I will remind everyone we are still selling our F Meltzer t-shirts. Trying to support two causes at once as we as Nick shows off his modeling skills.
Yes.
I am
to the people.
But you're gonna vote for us. But yeah, all the proceeds go to the North American World Literacy Foundation, and just helps the overall anti-Dave sentiment. So go check that out, folks, and go check out our store with all of our new merch. Get yourself some swag.
Absolutely, especially it's getting cold out there, folks. It's getting cold out there, so you need to bundle up with them layers. And 100%, it's getting towards the holiday season, so get them gifts early while the deals are still good.
Right. Zip ups are coming soon, so here we go.
Right.
Oh.
Anthony, should we just sit back and go on mute? We could go take a pause and just let AJ hold this one and go for like 10 minutes on how much he hates Jericho. We're good. We can just be quiet now.
Everyone knows how I feel. You can take the floor, because I've been very vocal.
It's like, why are we doing this? Why? Like, this is unnecessary. This is bad for Mark Briscoe, in my opinion. Like, Chris Jericho continues each and every week to suck, and we put him on pay-per-view for a world title match when I'm 99% sure this man is going to win on Saturday, that he is going to win the ROH world title from someone who's really deserving of continuing to hold that title. I don't get it. I don't get it. This is a waste of my time. I'm tired of the learning tree, or whatever he decides to call himself each and every week, to reinvent himself to continue to suck in AEW. This is just pure stupidity. I'm done ranting.
Nick?
No, I like MDB right here. I need a KJ rant on Jericho rant like a baby needs a bottle.
Man, I didn't go that hard on Jericho because he was very minimal on Dynamite this week. If you heard his recent interview where he's all braggadocious about, the experts thought we were gonna not sign a deal, and now we showed them wrong, and why would I leave? I'm working at the highest level I've ever worked, and I'm loving what I do. It's just delusional. Y'all know it's delusional. He knows it's delusional. It's bad. He is Jericho Hogan. You hashtag it all you need, but at the end of the day, Mark Briscoe is one of the best talents you have. There is no fucking reason for this match. The idea that people even think Chris is going to win, like Anthony just said, makes my brain hurt. The Mark Briscoe shouldn't be in this match. There's guys in this feud that would make more sense than Chris fucking Jericho. But Tony pays him a lot of money. He's going to be paying him a lot of money for a long time. So at the end of the fucking day, we are going to have to tolerate this washed up, over the hill, delusional fucking mess of a human being. And every time he comes out and fucks up, he's going to continue to preach how wonderful he is. Because nobody has the fucking guts to tell him otherwise. Apparently, it is bad. It is bad. This is a second Ring of Honor title match on this show. Shouldn't be happening. You have a Ring of Honor show that you don't give two fucks about. Send Jericho to Ring of Honor. Put him behind the paywall so we never fucking see him. Do that. Wouldn't that be better? Anybody?
Well, Chris Jericho is out here just a 2-cent streetwalker and everything like that, because he's managed to suck and blow at the same time. It's fascinating. But 100%, Mark Briscoe should not be anywhere near this match. Like you said, there's people within the learning tree that fit this tenfold. It's Brian Keith and even Big Bill absolutely should be in this. Chris Jericho has been nothing but a vampire to any sort of momentum any talent has had in AEW, and continues to be an anchor to everyone that he gets into a feud with, is associated with. And I still, though, like, I want Mark to win this match, but I fear the way that this is going, he's gonna win. He's gonna be El Nacho, El 9-time Champiano, and everything like that.
So tune in, folks, because I will throw a temper tantrum of epic proportion. If Mark Briscoe should be going after the TNT title, even the world title. Like, if it was Mark Briscoe versus Daniel Bryan, and Mark Briscoe got to cut promos every week that mattered, Mark Briscoe's a genius. Mark Briscoe has charisma. Mark Briscoe should not be anywhere near this absolute waste of fucking life in Chris Jericho. And this is a perfect example of why tickets are down, ratings are down. I don't give a fuck about the new deal. The analytics are bad, and it's because Tony refuses to minimize guys like Jericho and others who we're going to talk about later. It's just fucking killing this company. It's killing this company. You got Michael Jordan on the fucking bench, and you're playing fucking Steve Kerr. Yes, I know he hit a big shot. I don't give a fuck.
He did the one thing one time. But how do you feel about Jericho bringing up Jay? Because that, to me, like, that just kind of, I don't know, it didn't exactly sit right to me and everything, because it just felt like super low hanging fruit. It felt like the only thing to try and get this to mean anything worth a fuck, because Chris Jericho is more irrelevant than the fucking tissue paper I wipe my ass with.
It's crazy that a man that used to be able to really spit on the mic had to use a cheap pop to get whatever his point across in that moment. It was in bad taste. Like, we've seen it in the past, and I think we talked about it on a couple of shows ago with I think it was I can't think of her name, Candice LeRae, using it. Using Maxine's brother. I felt like that was different, right? And it wasn't live on the mic either. It was really the people that was listening at home that heard it. Anybody in the live crowd, they didn't hear it. But I think it was just in poor taste. I really do. And he just used it to get something over. Even the person I hate the most on commentary, Tony Schiavone, even was like, that was bad.
Whoa. That's it. You nailed it. You absolutely nailed it. This self-proclaimed creative fucking genius. I mean, again, he didn't need to go there. And it didn't warrant it. It's not like these two were in this heated moment. It was just like, if I say this, the crowd will boo. And I really need them to boo. And again, that's this whole gimmick. That's all of this shit, is just Jericho holding on with every bit of his might to some type of spotlight. And he buries person after person after person. And then you got Tony Khan on media calls going, yeah, I sure would love to use Ricky. If anyone sees him, let him know. Like, it blows my mind. And again, I can't justify this match. I'm not excited about this match. I might even, go for a bathroom break during this match. It's embarrassing, and it hurts AEW long term.
The only hope of a positive outcome I can get out of this is, like you said, if Jericho wins, he just pisses off to Ring of Honor and takes the learning tree with him, and then Mark Briscoe actually moves up, and he does say take on a Jack Perry for the TNT title. He does say go after, the main event scene and everything.
You need more Jack Briscoes. Like, you got Shane Taylor out there.
Mark,
what did I say?
Jack Briscoe.
Jack, okay. You need Mark Briscoe. You need Mark Briscoe to do his thing and be utilized. That's what we talk about all the time. There's so much good talent in this company. Just use them. Like I said, you get Shane Taylor. Shane Taylor going after Mark Briscoe for the Ring of Honor title sounds all types of. Use them. Jericho. Right. I mean, even if it was Brian Keith versus Mark Briscoe come Saturday, yay, I'm in. I'll watch that match all day long. But it won't be. And it's going to be a shit match. Jericho's going to lay out. He's going to be slow. He's going to be boring. And he's going to have so many, like, a lot of run-ins, a lot of distractions. It's going to be overbooked. But
Exactly. Jericho is given a broke down Sanderson sister at this point. Like, just move on, please.
I would
Right.
much rather see Brian Keith versus Mark Briscoe. I think it'd be a hell of a match. And like you said, it's
Yeah.
going to be absolutely just run-ins, interferences, distractions, bullshit, just gimmicks to try and prolong the match because Jericho can't go anymore.
No. No, he was the Ocho when he won the belt last time. What does he become this time? What's the 9? What did you?
Nueve, I believe.
All
Uno, dos,
right.
tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, nueve. Yeah, nueve.
There you go.
I
Nick's
think.
on it. Nick's on it. But I'm going Mark Briscoe. I refuse to pick Jericho, even though I'm terrified of the outcome of this one. I'll go Mark.
I want to see the meltdown, folks. We need to now. We almost you're gonna get people to cheer for Jericho just to see the meltdown.
Oh, dude. I mean, especially if this is like 2-3 hours into stream and I'm not happy.
I'll just walk off and just let you have the floor.
My fucking head might explode.
I'm gonna come back and the stream's off. I'm fucking sick of this shit. It's canceled. Fucking W.
We need Shawn Michaels to retire Chris Jericho. I wish. So you both are picking Jericho?
I want Mark to win.
Okay.
I fear the way that AEW is going to book it is Jericho wins.
Yeah, I want Mark to win too. I'm not gonna pick Jericho, but I think I want Mark to win. That's the best I can say.
You think somebody from the conglomeration is gonna screw Mark Briscoe on this one? Like a O'Reilly joins the learning tree, or
fuck no, please no.
Rocky Romero.
Could you imagine OC in the learning tree? Ishii joins the learning tree. That's what it'll be.
I would love to break the wall down and strangle the motherfucker standing behind it, to be honest. But I think Kyle might. Yeah, I'm wondering if that happens. But again, it's just a nonsensical. Jericho has done nothing but hurt people in this company. But let's not beat that point to death as we get Jack Perry and Shibata for the TNT title. And I don't even think this one's that hard to predict.
Yeah, do I need to do voice to talk now to get my point with this and everything like Shibata? But Jack Perry's winning this one. I think this every time when we think that there's going to be a good Jack Perry match, we're let down. But yeah, I think Jack Perry wins this one.
But people swear by him on Twitter that he's actually good. But Jack Perry wins this one.
Jack Perry is a young guy with upside. I think when he became the scapegoat, and we saw it in New Japan, and in other places where they just booked him like a bad guy, it worked. But when he started fucking around with the pretend wrestlers, it took all his steam away because he got lost in the shuffle. He was the low man on the totem pole between Okada and the Bucks, and we just forgot about him. If I take NJ, put NJ beside him, and they become the Liv and Dom of AEW, and they generate this interesting thing called audience reaction. It's a marvelous thing. They should try it once in a while, where the fans cheer for more than backflips and table spots.
Yeah, it's this thing called heat. And like you said, of Jack Perry in New Japan and elsewhere had that when he came back as the scapegoat. And I do still like that character, but it's been so watered down and just lost. And you've been mentioning it for a while, and I think you're spot on with it. If you pair him with Anna Jay and he goes back to just being that douchebag of, I'm a celebrity's kid, I'm in with the EVPs, he's just a snobby prick that, hey, I haven't got your favorite CM Punk fired. I don't think they can name him, but, just lean into that douchebag asshole personality.
Stop trying to be a tough guy like everyone else. You're not Minnie Moxley. Stop.
Be the sniveling little prick. Be the spoiled prick.
Yeah. Be the Dom who's like running and hiding and, getting beat up by Rhea. Like, be that guy.
Right. I feel bad though for Shibata. No one gives a flying rat.
I love Shibata. This is what's great. I love Shibata. I like the phone gimmick. I think it works. It gets over. I think it's funny.
Right.
There's potential with Shibata, and he's a good wrestler. Again, I mean, but we know why he's here. He's just a pawn. He's just a placeholder.
Well, that's the thing is Shibata's a fantastic wrestler, much like we thought. Danielson and Jack Perry was going to be a great match because he was in there with Danielson. I don't still think that Shibata can pull this out of Perry for some reason. Like Perry's going to win, but it's going to just be another Jack Perry match.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, the chat is 87% on Perry. Gentlemen, do we want to throw our 2 cents in the ring for this one?
Yeah, I think Jack Perry wins. Clear cut here.
I'm with you.
I was going to say, Anthony hasn't talked much about this match, so I want to. Do you have any thoughts on this? Sure. Or are you just like, I'm good.
Yeah, I think it's just Jack Perry. I don't see him losing anytime soon. But I mean, I'm not really the biggest Jack Perry fan. I liked him when he was with Luchasaurus, I think, at the very beginning of AEW.
Jurassic Express.
Yeah. After that,
that theme song is still a banger.
Right. After they like parted ways and he became a singles competitor, I'm not really feeling it.
Yeah. And it would be nice to see like Jack drop the belt and Shibata shake it up a little. Damian thinks that Danny Garcia will venture off to Jack Perry. And real quick, I mean, he announced that he re-signed or he's staying in AEW. I think he got his ankle tattoo.
Nowhere.
Yeah, a lot of people kind of razzed him of like, did we care?
But I wouldn't mind seeing Garcia go after this. I seen a couple people mention Sammy going after Jack Perry, but I see Denisha saying he's injured. I thought he had a concussion, I think is the last I saw. But
yeah, Sammy hurt himself again.
Well, if he's not hurting other people, he's hurting himself. So what else is new? But I wouldn't mind seeing Garcia versus a Jack Perry. I mean, MJ off doing nothing, so you've got to do something with Garcia.
You got to. I mean, I don't know. Is how much longer is MJ out?
The scarf hasn't told me yet, so I'm not sure.
All right then. This match, I'm gonna be honest. Look, Anthony said it. I don't even have to say it. What's sad about this again? The lowest who gives a fuck moments in this show are apparently important people in the company.
But exactly, and it's still funny to me that someone mentioned it earlier in the chat. I can't remember who at this point, but the Outrunners have just popped up out here and are now already becoming one of your top merch sellers and everything like that. They're getting over super fast with this. Why not throw them in this match? I know it doesn't. Oh, well, we didn't build to it. You sure as fuck haven't built to this match either. So what's that got to do with anything? It's just, I still struggle so much with AEW's tag team division because it was for the longest time the best. It was where tag team wrestling kind of lived. And it's got two EVPs that are head of the fucking companies, are world champions in that division right now. You would think that'd be a fucking focus, but it's such an afterthought, such a forgotten stain on everything.
I remember when I first started watching AEW, it was the tag team division that really got me into watching AEW because tag team wrestling as a whole, especially in that time, because it was kind of run by Vince McMahon in the WWE, was non-existent. So to see some good tag team wrestling just about, 3 years ago, you were watching AEW. And now the tag team division is like, is just surrounded by the Young Bucks. If I was booking Saturday, I would do everything in my power to give the titles to Private Party because I don't want to see the Young Bucks as champions anymore. It's just a travesty. It's a travesty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, that was one of their mission statements: is we're going to have the best tag team division in the world. And the early days of AEW, you were getting 2-3 tag matches a week. The Young Bucks, to their credit, let Private Party go over in the first ever tag tournament, which, I mean, it's a little concerning. 5 years later, here we are back again. Nobody gives a shit about the Young Bucks. Nobody gives a shit about Private Party. You sign the Grizzled Young Vets, and does anybody care? Anybody see those British gentlemen wandering around?
Right.
Why are they not in a title picture? Why are they not on a pay-per-view yet? If the teams are good, you mentioned the Outrunners. We know FTR, just took the money and ran. But you mentioned these teams that are good. The problem with the Young Bucks is their ego. And
Mhm.
teams like Grizzled Young Vets and teams like the FTR, teams like the Outrunners, they threaten to prove that they are better than the Young Bucks. So they keep them miles apart. They bury them. They don't use them. And again, the weirdest thing is Moxley comes out, breaks the hand of one of the two on Private Party, and we just moved on. Like, oh, now we want to fight the Bucks. What happened to the guy that broke your hand? Anybody?
That 100% was literally what I was about to bring up and everything. Of this should be like Pac and Claudio versus Private Party. The Bucks shouldn't be involved in this. If anything, like you were saying, the Grizzly Young Vets should be involved in this because they've been involved with FTR and the Bucks. They sat there and showed up at All In and all that.
Where they been?
Well,
Hanging
I was
out
trying
on
to find
Rampage.
MDB had a great comment of the frizzled young vets just vanished. Yeah, that's what they've kind of become.
Yeah, but I think it's protecting the Bucks, which is killing your company. It's the same thing with Jericho. Jericho looks for name value that he can latch onto. The Bucks avoid it because they don't want to be, they are not brave enough or confident enough to be put in the conversation to be compared. We saw all the bullshit. The only reason why we have a trios division is because the Bucks were chicken shit, and they continue to be chicken shit. And we're not going to get chicken salad on Saturday, folks. I'm sorry.
No. But I will agree, though, with Tony's comment here saying tag teams is a dying theme in all of wrestling. It has been, but WWE is starting to have a resurgence 100% with that. But how many matches so far have really felt like actual pay-per-view matches? This, again, to me, feels like a Dynamite, a Rampage, a Collision. Thank you, Anthony.
Anthony straight out, none.
Brutal honesty. That's only what you get here, folks, with the Wrestling for Life Network.
The build of them, none of them really do. I get the sentiment. I think Jay White and Adam Page under the right circumstance, pay-per-view match, fine. The rest of them, like, again, Mortis and fucking and Hologram, this match, Jericho, none of it feels big deal.
So what you're saying is we're going to have like 11, 12, 14 matches, and it's really going to boil down to about 5 matches that actually matter. Now, imagine if it was just the 5 matches. How great would that be?
Right?
Imagine. It's almost like someone else might be doing that same exact thing.
Well, it's funny because, you know, he faces a lot of criticism for booking 6 matches, but we did our preview show not too long ago, 2 weeks ago, about Bad Blood. And we were confused by the storyline, as far as like confused about who might win, who might lose, what might happen. There was a lot of debate. There was a lot of candor going into that pay-per-view with the 6 matches, quality over quantity. And Tony does the opposite. And it's like, to me, it hurts him. It's almost like the overrun on Dynamite is you're only hurting the show by giving us more. Just end it. Let us go home. And if you have 4 or 5 good matches, we said it for the last 2 pay-per-views. There's so much filler and shit we don't care about. You pull down the class average, right? Like Timmy's stupid. He's hurting the class average.
This isn't great on a curve here, but yeah, it's Tony Khan needs to learn restraint. That's really what it is. I don't need to have 11 matches because, like we saw, like you mentioned with Bad Blood, we had five matches. And we're wrong, was pretty much a dead even split on our predictions and everything. And it still was a great show. And even if we were wrong on the match, it still ended with a great result. So use these matches that you have here to stack more of your Dynamites. You don't have, 329 to 850,000 something, what have you, versus NXT, the lowest rated Dynamite in all of Dynamite's history. Just saying. So maybe you pull some stuff back so you can keep rounds in the chamber, Tony. Restraint is your friend.
Exactly. And you can even look at the TNA specials or pay-per-views. They usually have between 7 to 8 matches, but all of the matches, the majority of the time, mean something. Even some of the matches that don't even seem like they're going to be good wind up being good. And they still get you out. You know, the main show for TNAs usually start at 8. They get you out by 10 or 10:30-ish. And then, you know, you got the pre-show that starts about 7. They might have 1 or 2, 3 matches on there, but they, like I said, they still get you out by 10:30, 11 o'clock. You with AEW, you're sitting here till 12:30. There's literally not one pay-per-view outside of the ones that come on during the day for AEW that I have finished in the same night, because they start at 8 and it's 2 o'clock in the morning when you get to the main event.
Yeah, and then a 4-hour presser where Tony just sits there, hammed, just loving life.
Ooh,
Right.
with a fuzzy hat and sunglasses, just half cocked next to fucking Tony Storm.
Half cocked might be accurate.
Well,
But,
more ways than one. Yeah.
right. And again, that's just like from a quality standpoint, from a fan standpoint, I would rather, you know, 6, 7 matches that I give a shit about. And the pay-per-view feels special. The pay-per-view feels worth the money than a bunch of matches that, like, again, to say, well, we put a show together, it was 4.5 hours. Well, I mean, a root canal might be 4.5 hours. I don't necessarily want to sit through it.
Yeah, 100%. You can go to a movie that's only an hour and a half and it's still a great fucking movie, and you sit there and you turn around and you want to go and watch it again, but you can go and watch a fucking 5-hour epic, you know, miniseries that's some bullshit and everything.
Right?
And it's you're sick to death by halfway through it here. It's use the matches that aren't your strong matches on here and flesh them out more on your weekly television. You're struggling already with your weekly television. Make the value worth it. Make it feel special to, if I'm going to drop $50 versus the $5.99 or $9.99 or whatever it is for the Peacock and all that to watch, you know, a WWE premium live event.
Yeah.
Make it matter. Make it feel like I'm money worthwhile. Like UFC. If you're going to put some bullshit matches on a UFC fight night or a UFC pay-per-view card, I'm not going to spend the $80 or whatever it is to watch the pay-per-view.
Yeah, right. Give me a reason. Give me a reason.
Right.
You know, Damien just saying 5's not enough. But again, like Nick just said, we won't go too far into this, but Carmelo Andrade has been a SmackDown. It's been for the shows. It's mid-card. So again, you make the matches. I don't care if it's 5, 4, 6, as long as the matches are good. And on a B, quote unquote, level show, I want out, you know, 3.5, 4 hours tops. Your major shows, yeah, we're going to go 5, 6 hours. We get it. But there feels no difference between secondary AEW shows and their major AEW shows. They're all just a blur of 15 matches that never fucking end.
Right.
And because you have to watch and sit through 15 matches, the 3 matches that do matter, you've forgotten about them because you just had to watch another 2 hours of, you know, 8-man tag matches and all of that.
Well, Nick, I remember we were live when Punk won the belt, and we were just like, he won. Good night, folks. Like, there was no, like, oh my God, Punk. Oh, like, it was just like, it's over. Goodbye.
We can go home. Free at last. Free at last. Oh, Lord, I am free at last.
So the chat went 60% Bucks. I think the Bucks win this. It would be surprising if Private Party win it. Anybody going Private Party?
No, the Young Bucks win this.
I do enjoy many of the wrestlers in AEW, and I did watch AEW Dynamite over NXT, but I'm not dropping $50 for the pay-per-view.
And that's Gilly, Gilly who's like hardcore on leading that side here. So that's a testament. Again, you're starting to whittle away at your core audience and chip away at it more and more.
Yeah. Who's the face of AEW right now? That's a phenomenal question. It's Will Osprey in my books, but it's hard because it's technically Danielson, maybe.
Your face is a mid-card champion.
Yeah.
I agree with you, but I'm saying right now, the way that it's presented, your face of the company is a mid-card champion. It's like saying, you know, it's like saying Jey Uso is the face of WWE right now. Right. A bit.
But he's not, though, because you got Cody, you got Roman, you got guys that are like, right? Like, I mean, even like, who's the face of the women's division? Well, it feels like it's Sasha, but
Mariah May.
Does it?
Well, they present her like it is,
right? And she can't deliver on anything.
Like the
But
match below us feels secondary, and Sasha's not even on this card.
right.
Thankfully.
Hallelujah. Praise Jesus. Imagine if we had the Young Bucks, Chris Jericho, and Mercedes all on this goddamn card.
Yeah.
Oh,
How do we feel about this match? I mean, again, I think because of circumstance, it kind of was a bit of a wobbly build. I'm a huge fan of both these women. I think both these women bring a lot to this division. I just don't know about this match right now. And I think it's going to be, I mean, does it, I don't know, guys. You go from here.
I hope this over delivers. I
should.
honestly I hope this over delivers. I one hand feel bad for Mariah May because they didn't have anything set up for her after the Tony Storm feud. Nothing whatsoever. You've been constantly asking for Mina Shirakawa. I think she's still off in Japan, or just she's where in the world is Mina Shirakawa. That's where she is right now. But they had nothing set up for Mariah May after Tony Storm. There's been no follow-up, no nothing with that. Willow, they bundled and fumbled and fucked up that whole feud with Statlander, and they're still trying to fix Stat after this too. And so Willow, I don't know, is lost without a direction either. So this on paper, this is like the Hangman Jay White matchup. I love both competitors. I think this should be a great match. I just don't know where the fuck to go with it.
Yeah, I thought, and I think you mentioned it, Nick, that I thought Mariah May was feuding with Mina. I really don't know how we got to Willow. I know there was a number one contendership fatal 4-way, but like, why did we drop Mina for Willow? Nothing against Willow. I'm just saying, if we're going to follow the story, it should be Mariah May versus Mina, in my opinion. I'm with Nick though. I hope these two over deliver. I think both of them are excellent in the ring. I really like Willow, and what I've seen from Mariah May so far has been great as well. So I hope these women kill it on Saturday. Yeah,
I mean, the on paper, the concept is great. A really good heel, a really pure baby face. Simple, right? The fans, like, Willow's got herself over. She's proved that she can go in the ring. People want to see her win. So a great opportunity for the heel to kind of duck dodger and really build a story with these two women. The Mina thing, I do think that Tony Khan's flexibility with allowing his wrestlers to wrestle elsewhere might hurt him sometime. Now, Mina's not officially part of AEW. So when you put her in a storyline and now you need to finish that story, but she goes back to Japan, what the fuck do you do? And that's what I feel like happened here. Was Mina was the natural progression. Even 2 weeks ago, Mina showed up and they hugged, but Mina was like mad that Mariah was being a heel, but Mina's gone again. So we can't get into it. There's your story. Now that's my fear for Willow here. Is she's going to take an L and be brushed right back down to the dugout with the rest.
And that's the sad part too, is it's the rest. And yeah, it's a big gamble on Tony of constantly having people that aren't technically involved in your company, aren't technically assigned to your company, involved in prominent storylines in your company, because you never know when you won't be able to use them, and then you're kind of just backed into a corner here. If Willow loses, does she get in that same slot as like Jamie Hayter? Well, I guess now Saraya. What do we even do now with Tony Storm? We're just we're just sliding everybody down into this pit of just, we've got women's wrestlers, we don't can use them, and we don't give a shit about them, but we've got them.
And he has a stacked roster of women that can go. Like you just mentioned a lot of them. Deanna, Willow, Mariah May. I mean, like the list goes on and on of stacked women he has on the roster that can deliver. And like he does nothing with them. I don't know.
That's the frustrating part. And again, it's this thing, like it's this big brag of like, oh, I have the best, but I choose not to use it. Like, I have the fastest car on the block, but I never race you because I leave that car in the garage. Like, who gives a shit what you have if you ain't using it? Like, and that's the thing. Like, I can see her all day in Thunder Rosa, Taya Valkyrie. Now they're giving us vignettes with Taya and Deanna working together. That sounds amazing. Where is it? Why is it not on Dynamite? Why are we not getting acclimated to these two women who can dust this division? But here we are. Britt was loosely like, I have a feeling that the next contender is going to be Britt because it was supposed to be Britt, but Britt got sick and Britt got stuck in a hurricane. Like, again, I don't know why. You can brag all you want about your roster, but if you don't utilize it, it means nothing.
It's coming off a bit more like Millhouse's dad of, sleeping in the car bed type shit. With this of like, cool, you got it, but it don't mean shit if you ain't gonna use it properly and all that. Like, what the fuck are you doing with this? Wait, well, where do you sleep? At home in bed with my wife? But who do you have in this match?
Yeah, who do we got? The chat's going 71% Mariah May.
Yeah, I think this is Mariah all the way.
Whew. Yeah. Nick?
I just want to, for the sake of being difficult, because it would put a smile on my face if it happened if Willow won. Because, goddamn it, she deserves it. She's been, honestly, a backbone of this women's division, an underrated one, too, of when Britt Baker was pretty much fucking off, when Thunder Rosa was injured, when Jamie Hayter was still injured and everything. They were kind of putting the division around Willow. So
yeah,
I'm fine with if she were to win this. I know Willow, it's not likely, but I want to see it happen.
Yeah. Willow is what Mercedes Moné should be.
That's
what she's getting paid for.
Yeah,
is what Willow should be. But
and we saw what they did with Willow and the Mercedes Moné setup. It was unfortunate because it kind of feels like what they did to Darby of like, we signed somebody, we're excited, and we're just going to steamroll. Will, like, here's your, hold on to this belt for a second so we can set you up to look like a loser and have you drop it real quick to this lady because of who she is. She's
part of her signing was that she got over on you and got this into that. So because it fit with the injury that she didn't do and the championships. Yeah. So,
I mean, and again, Nick, you might, in the sense of, I don't know if you've noticed our track record, we're not predicting a whole lot of title change going at this pay-per-view.
It's funny you say that because I'm gonna spoiler alert. I think that this definitely has a title change.
Okay.
100%. But you've got to. I'm still, like I said, when I talked about with like the Bobby Lashley thing and all of that, with how weak this card is structurally, you need big splash moments to draw the attention away. Like more people, if Bobby Lashley shows up at WrestleDream, more people are going to be talking about that than how much, say, the Young Bucks versus Private Party sucked. Well, maybe not because it's the Young Bucks, but you get what I'm saying. Of weapons of mass distraction is a little bit with that. But I think this match is going to be phenomenal. I'm going to cut to the chase with my prediction. Say Takeshita wins this, and I know we'll talk about it afterwards.
Oh, I like that. I do.
Yeah. That's why I did it.
I'm really excited for this match. I like all three of these guys. I think they're really great. I don't see Ricochet winning at all here. I'm really excited for this match. I per se don't see a title change. I feel like Will Osprey holds that title just a little bit longer. So since Nick went straight to his prediction, I'll go straight to mine. Will Osprey retains.
Well, I'm not going straight to my prediction because I haven't decided yet.
That's fine. I knew we were still going to talk about this. I just was getting that part out of the way before we forgot about it.
See, this is a tough one for me because I could see if Osprey gets screwed by the Callis family, I'm going to be disappointed because the Callis shit needs to go away. The screwdriver needs to disappear. It's dumb. It's dumb and childish. But I love Takeshita. I think this guy's got so much upside. I mean, Ricochet finding a way. Like, I'm going to go Ricochet. How about that? I'm going to go Ricochet because Takeshita and Osprey got Callis family business to deal with. Ricochet gets the belt, runs off. Takeshita
That's not a bad show, actually.
Yeah, Takeshita and Osprey have to work out their issues, and then we circle back where Osprey wants his belt back. Also, I do think Osprey should be in the world title picture. You brought this guy in. He's the biggest guy in your company. The fans go nuts for this guy. And he's there, and no offense, but he's playing mid-card champion playing mid-card in a company that he's probably the best in.
Yeah, you said earlier that we've all pretty much agreed that he's the face of AEW right now, and he's your mid-card champion. He's in a mid-card feud, in a mid-card faction, in a mid-card situation. Now, granted, I think all three of these guys are pretty much what should be really your main event scene when it comes to AEW. You want to be the alternative? There's your three. You want to go back to the fucking pillars term and everything that AEW coined. There's three of them right there. Find a fourth.
Eastery and Swerve. There's your pillars.
Right. Yeah. Well, maybe you take out Ricochet and you put in Hangman, and you give me Takashi and you give me Osprey. But I'll deal with that. But 100%, these are guys that you should start to be the focus of your shows, of really present these guys as stars. And I think this match will be phenomenal. I really hope so with these three guys at it.
Yeah.
But I do kind of like the Callis thing a little bit now, because I think that we're clearly getting to where Osprey's out of it. I think we're going to get to where Fletcher's going to tease that he's still in it, but joins Osprey. And I think Archer now joining the Callis family is going to be more beside Takeshita. That I think he'll play a part. I still think this now sets up to where it goes back to Takeshita's the figurehead of the Callis family. It's not Takeshita or Osprey. Now it's back to where you got more of where Takeshita was the alpha to Kenny's omega, where under Callis and everything with that. We go back towards that, which I really dig. So,
okay.
I'm gonna pose a question here. If Ricochet does win, Ricochet wins on Saturday. Does this title reign? So say he has a decent title reign, like a length of time title reign. Does this make or break Ricochet's run in AEW if it doesn't go well?
No,
it doesn't help it though. I mean, again, at some point, like if he is like, I mean, if the big story is Osprey and the Callis family, Ricochet's just a piece in the mix. Now, does it make or break it? No, not necessarily. But this is our fear. You come in, you sign a guy because you got a one-track mind. We're gonna book Osprey, Ricochet, and then what? So if he loses here, he came in, did nothing in the Battle Royal, did nothing much since, barely beat Mortis. He needs something. He came here to be a star. This was his big chance to prove to everybody that if booked better in the dub, he would be a bigger star. He doesn't feel like a bigger star here. He does need to get out of this shadow at some point.
Yeah, it doesn't end it, but it does kind of kneecap it a little bit. And now it makes it's a much harder hill to climb to really prove a point. And it's already getting that way a little bit because he's been so kind of oddly presented to an extent of he didn't make a big splash right out of the gate. That now it's like you had him on. Was the Battle Royal that he was in on the pre-show too, or was that? Or
no,
that was the start of the show. Yeah, because it was only Jamie Hayter that was on the pre-show. But you have him come out in a Battle Royal that he doesn't even win, and like you said, then he's out there with Mortos.
Yeah,
his best thing he's done so far, besides Osprey, has been his match with Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah,
right.
Which wasn't as good as Osprey's match with Kyle Fletcher or MJF's match with Kyle Fletcher. So now we got problems.
Which wasn't as good as Ricochet's, most of Ricochet's matches in WWE. Like Ricochet's match with Braun Breaker was better than Ricochet's match with Kyle Fletcher.
Ricochet, Logan Paul, folks. I know you hate me saying it, but let's be real. Let's be honest.
I was there for that one. That was a banger.
I love this comment. Ricochet left being a mid-card guy to be another mid-card guy. But
it's a circle of life.
In my eyes, if Ricochet loses, why did you leave the big leagues? Tony petitioning for Ricochet showing off some heel attitude. That, I mean, it would be different. It maybe he fucks Osprey and becomes the face of the Callis family. I hate the Callis family. I want the Callis family to go away.
You hate everything Canadian. As such a proud Canadian, you hate everything fucking Canadian. You hate Chris Jericho. You hate Don Callis. You hate Jody Threat. What do you like as Canadian?
Jody, if you hear me, I love you. But
the only thing you like as Canadian is the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Sammy
Kevin Owens. Well, that's just because that's you. That's your brother. That's your doppelganger.
Well, I can't bet against Owens. That's true. But
why are you out there beating up Cody Rhodes in parking lots? We still haven't figured that out.
Yeah, you know what? Down Callis, if he was just, I'm a heel and I help my heel team win, great. But he doesn't do any he needs to watch some like Bobby Heenan footage or Jim Cornette footage of how to manage as a heel, where the heel was running amok. This guy sits on commentary and then stands up and is like, I brought a screwdriver. Fuck off. It's so dumb. Good. Screw in the fucking
Callis has been good. Callis has been good. When Callis was with Omega, it was good. When he was, like I said,
that was 3 years ago.
Right. Well, that's when AEW was good too, but we'll get to that later. But I still think like when you had Callis backing Takeshita and he was going against Omega and everything, I didn't mind that at all. Callis kind of get weird when he got involved with Jericho, when we've got this now whole family a little bit, and especially when you had Osprey, who's clearly a babyface, when the whole rest of the faction's a heel. That's when it got really funky. And I still think we're going to get Fletcher's going to end up teaming with Osprey. He's going to go babyface. We saw that recently with his Boo Sky Blue, to where she left the heel and coming back a heel or babyface until she got injured. So,
well, we just saw it.
Right, but I think we're going to get Osprey versus Takeshita is going to be a thing going forward. I don't know where we go with Ricochet, and that's the bad spot.
Well, the chat says 47% Will, 29% Take, and 24% Rick. So even the chat thinks that Ricochet is a long shot on this one.
Well, you might be onto something if Ricochet wins this.
Yeah.
And then he just runs with the belt, and then Osprey and Takeshita just go over here and have their own feud and don't have to deal with the belt, but don't go towards the world title or whatever, just have their own feud. I don't mind that.
Yeah, you set up something on the side, and then you give me a Ricochet Pac, give me a Ricochet Dante Martin for shits and giggles. I don't care, but like you allow Ricochet to have a bit of gold and a bit of somebody made the comment, yeah, he's still a mid-card guy, but he's a better paid mid-card guy, and I think that's a fact. So again, I like this match. I'm excited for this match. It sucks that I'm gonna have to wait like 3.5 hours to get to it, but I can't wait for this one.
Well, it depends on when they do this. Sorry, Anthony.
Open the show with it.
But Anthony, did you have something?
Oh, I was just gonna say absolutely. Like, I'm really excited to see those three guys go at it on Saturday. I think it'll be a phenomenal match.
That to me should be the match of the night. Should doesn't mean it will, but should be the match of the night.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, holy crap! We're down to the main event. I thought we still had like 17 matches to go.
We got through some of them quickly because how much can we debate the merits of Hologram and Mortos, right?
Right.
They're both bad. Why is it on my screen? Get it off my screen.
2 out of 3 falls. It's gonna go a hot minute.
No, it's gonna go 3 minutes, and it's gonna be 1 fall hologram, 2 fall hologram.
It'd be amazing. The main event. I'm looking forward to this main event. There's some clunky things in here. We got here in a weird way. We already talked about poor Darby Allin, but overall, these two are pros. These two know each other extremely well. Them getting in the ring together should be good. Maybe.
I think this match is honestly going to be really great. I know I joke and still it's the White Pool Combat Club to me, especially now with Jon Moxley and all of that. But I like now heel Moxley. I wish they would just lean fully into it. And I saw a video that AEW posted on their YouTube channel and I feel like he's really starting to lean fully into it. I think Jon Moxley's leaving WrestleDream with this title. I think this might be Daniel Bryan goes softly into that sweet good night out there in the Pacific Northwest. I think we all kind of, if this wasn't Moxley, we all kind of knew this was probably where Danielson was done. This was the end of the road. This was the end of the line. I don't mind this now if you go back to old reliable Jon Moxley as the AEW World Champion, a guy who can carry the ball if you need him to. And him as the heel, I don't mind. And the angle that they're going with this, I think is just interesting. It's a new directive, and I kind of dig it.
This match better be good. That's all I'm saying. It better be good. I like both guys. I like Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley. I really think they're gonna kill it. I agree with Nick. Like I feel like if this is where you have Danielson lose the title, it has to be Moxley. Moxley's that mainstay guy in AEW. I mean, even with the CM Punk stuff that happened a couple of years ago, he canceled his vacation to come back to be AEW World Champion. Like he's a company guy. They're putting the company in his hands. So if you're having Danielson drop the title to somebody, I think Moxley is the right choice. I think these guys are gonna have a phenomenal match. This is like one of those ones where it could also be potentially match of the night, and I'm looking forward to it. Only because I'm a huge fan of Bryan Danielson, the man that got me back to watching professional wrestling after taking a small break. I'm taking Bryan Danielson to win.
Yeah, I mean, my only fear with this match is being overbooked and being a little nonsensical by the end. If this is Danielson's last match, I thought Darby would have been perfect. A perfect thing, even if Darby had a short run and you had Moxley breathing down his neck, and if you didn't have a whole lot of faith in Darby, then you could have Moxley take it off Darby. Fine. Maybe they didn't believe in Darby enough. I don't know what the reason is, but this match should deliver. And I've said for a long time this is going to be Danielson's last match at WrestleDream. So it's got to be Moxley.
I agree with, like, it was exactly the point I was bringing up with Anthony mentioned to where Moxley's already been the guy that sat there and took his vacation off so he could sit there and be the company guy. I think if we get a guy like a Bobby Lashley in, even if he's not involved with Swerve or what have you, Bobby Lashley versus Jon Moxley kind of works. Again, it's very ex-WWE. Very ex-WWE with this, but I mean, these are the pieces placed before me. Porky Pig here. But I still think, go ahead.
No, you finish your thought, because I'm going to transition to another thought, because there's two things that I don't know how we get there, but there's two things I want to bring up. But go ahead, finish.
I was just going to say that I think that this match should deliver, and I'm hoping Tony again uses restraint and just let these two guys go. Don't use Yuta. Don't bring in Claudio. Don't bring in Pop. No Shafir. No, none of that. No one interfere. These two go at each other.
Yeah, but I think this is what happened.
No, fuck off.
If he finds his pen, if he can track down Kip and get his one pen back.
Because that's the only pen in existence, folks. Fuck me. No, just that. You would end that on. That would actually, you know what? That would come full circle, because the last WrestleDream ended with Christian Cage in the main event, leaving with a champion. Shit, so 100%.
That's true.
Yeah, man. I could see it happening. He's did a bunch. I just think, like, if this is Danielson's last match ever, do they let him beat Moxley and then have Christian? You're just going to take it's going to be a weird mood to end the night in front of a home crowd.
That's
like, yay!
That's all the way bad. Like, which of these three options is the best option to you? Danielson goes over Moxley clean, Moxley goes over Danielson clean, or whoever wins, and then Christian Cage leaves as champion. That seems pretty fucking sour note to me with that whole situation.
Does Luchasaurus being out have any impact on Christian's validity, or does he need another heavy?
No, Christian Cage is fucking getting over or being involved in anything affects his validity. I don't care if it was just Christian Cage by himself or Christian Cage and Nick Wayne, like as it is right now. It's the patriarchy is not doing anything worth relevancy, worth note. So why would you not end it with, like, Moxley and Danielson? They know each other. They have the history. Blackpool Combat Club, the same guy that's choking him out in the plastic bag and everything like that. This is supposed to be like brother versus brother, and it's, we're going to war. It's the end of the American Dragon and everything like that. To sit there and end it with Christian Cage feels kind of like hot tooey on everything.
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. I think I like the scenario of maybe Danielson going over clean on Moxley and Christian taking it. I think that would, if you want to end the night, I don't want to use sour note, but if you want to end the night with the crowd going home angry, I think that's perfect. I think that's perfect. That's how you do it.
Yeah, they came into the door angry, so let's send them home angry too. Let's see how that goes.
It's a tough spot. Again, we don't know. I mean, again, there's things about this feud I like. I feel like we got here in a bit of a rushed way because of the whole, Darby's number one contender. No, he's not. But regardless, like I said, I think this match, at least this is something we can have a friendly debate about, of like, could it be this? Could it be that? Could it be this? And I don't feel like there's a lot of that on this card. Spaz, thank you so much for the super chat. Go check out Spaz, give him some love. The K Jiggity Jam is adorable, right? Sweet Tony Rings. Nicholas Grandis. I don't know. Well, you were counting earlier, so maybe if
all right, uno dos.
Grande.
All right, mucho grande. I am not a Taco Bell special menu item.
And you and Jack Perry should be friends.
There we go. Fuck, that's so good. That's such a good callback.
Now, that being said, it's been brought up by our buddy Damien a couple times, and I think MDB brought it up as well. There's two names out there that have been batted around a lot with this feud. Sami Callihan, Shane McMahon. Any thoughts?
Shane McMahon, no. Sami Callihan, maybe.
I mean, Sami Callihan is signed to TNA. He's just not being used.
Signed?
Yeah, he's signed to TNA. He's just not
MIA.
He's just been MIA. Exactly. Okay. Yeah, he returned at Rebellion. He's been used a little bit here and there, but we haven't seen him in months. I don't know if it was a short-term contract. As far as I know, he's still signed with TNA Wrestling.
Yeah, so that's interesting. And then another name, Adam Cole.
Yeah.
No. I will say this with the whole Shane McMahon thing, and I know we've talked about this at times at length, it would be extremely interesting, and it would be one of those big, splash, weapons of mass distraction moments if Shane McMahon shows up at an AEW show. Shane McMahon is all elite, but I think it's going to do much more harm than it's going to do any bit of good. It's the same thing to me, like it's showing the footage from All Out. It's going to do so much more damage than they really think it's going to do good, because you're going to turn away your audience that doesn't want anything to do with any McMahons. You're going to turn away anyone. You can't deny a WWE change at that point.
What they're going to do, bro. I don't believe the Shane rumors. I don't think Shane's coming. I doubt it. I highly doubt it. People are conflating a story.
Oh, yes.
Huge. But I'm telling you two things. One, if he came, the chaos that would be the internet and the buzz around it. If you're Tony Khan, you want Shane to help, because it's just noteworthy. First off, nothing in 2024 outside of all the fucking TKO merger and Netflix might rival that news of Shane McMahon's working with Tony Khan. But I do also believe that there has to be some level of understanding of anything that's going on between those two. And that's where I think they will be lost, is that if you bring him in for the clicks and the excitement and the buzz, well, that buzz disappears really quick if it doesn't do anything. But the one thing I think you're wrong about, Nick, is the apologists, the tribalists. We got the good McMahon. We got the angel. Did you watch the talk? Shane's the good one.
But you still will whittle. You will shave down that chair. You will whittle away your audience and everything like that. Still, we've already seen that with bringing in WWE talent, with talks with bringing in Bobby Lashley and everything like that. And you bring in a Shane McMahon. That's the thing. You're going to have McMahon on AEW television. You're going to have people. I know you and I see the sensible thought of this and everything, but you're going to see people that aren't sensible. They can't be reasoned with. That are going to just be like, "There's a McMahon. I'm out."
Like, it's the same thing with the people that are like, oh my God, holograms on the pay-per-view. This is cool. There's certain people that if Shane McMahon comes in, they're gonna be like, we did it, like, aha, fuck the dub, we got them, like,
Oh yeah, it's
this
definitely gonna
save
be
our
people.
company.
But still, what are you expecting outside of buzz and outside of attention? Are you
Nothing.
expecting Shane to do? Shane's not a booker. Shane's not a talent agent or anything like that. Christ, he's not even a talent at this point. So he's just literally there as a figurehead, as a figure piece. Like he's at best a performer. What do you do? It's not, it's a get for attention. But again, like you said, and then what? We have great moments, but it's always the follow through. You need a follow through. You need a plan.
Right. Well, that's it. I don't know. Like, he's just the leader of this. Again, they trying to, like, Moxley and crew on behalf of Shane are taking over AEW. Ironically, the Elite just did that to no success.
Right. How many times can you do the same storyline over and over again? Yeah. I feel like Nelly. I just keep over and over.
But yeah, I mean, I was actually surprised. Big favorite of Moxley for this one. A lot of people are feeling like this is Moxley's match to have. And
it makes sense to me. I think if you have Mox go with this, and I'm hoping if AEW wants to stay true to it being the alternative and being something different than WWE, you can start to lean to this. If you have Mox as your champion and you really go and lean with this heel character and all of that, I think it works. You have Takeshi, and you have Osprey, and you have Ricochet. If you have all the players on the chessboard, you just need to present them properly, and you can really, I don't want to say be competitive, but you could really start to heat back up, because AEW as a whole at this point is iceberg Titanic cold level.
It's cold. Anthony?
Yeah, it's really cold, like extremely cold, like
Sub-Zero.
super cold. Like it's at the point of when the Titanic broke, and then it just like that's kind of where it is now.
Where's the orchestra? Us three are the orchestra.
No, I'm waiting for Tony just with hologram. Don't let go, Jack. Don't let
go. Again, we hope big things. I hope this pay-per-view as a whole overachieves, accomplishes a lot, but we'll see. I mean, it's up to the people that put on the show to make it matter, to make it count. We will be here live for it, just like we will be here live tomorrow. SmackDown, Roman Reigns will be in the building. Will The Rock be there? Cody and KO have issues. Jimmy's back, and so much more. A lot to get into with that. And then, of course, WrestleDream 6:30 Friday or Saturday. We will be here for that as well. Any final thoughts on WrestleDream or anything else, folks?
I did want to confirm that apparently Sami Callihan is still signed with TNA and with MLW. So
okay,
yeah. So
I just he's got two contracts. What's wrong with a third? What's wrong with a third?
Right. Hashtag WrestleNap.
Just buy him out of both of those.
Adam Cole shows up and does what? I don't know. I don't even know if I'm excited about Adam Cole anymore.
Right.
What do you do with Adam Cole after the Undisputed Kingdom was such a flop? Because let's admit that was a failure to launch.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm at a loss. Like, I'm really curious how they put him back in here and make it make sense.
Right.
I'm hoping that coming out of this WrestleDream and everything, AEW starts to pivot and actually has a creative idea. I know I'm reaching here, but I'm hoping. Hopium. Damien, where are you? I'm joining the Hopium tribe. But that it starts to pivot and becomes a bit more of that adultish entertainment, because we've seen it now. That seems to be the way wrestling's going, period. Of NXT's TV 14 now on CW, Monday Night Raw is going to Netflix. Wrestling as a whole seems to at least now acknowledge that there is adults that watch this as well. So if you're going to be the alternative, you start to need to push lines. Mm-hmm. You need to, maybe not cross lines, but at least get close to them. Maybe kiss them, hug them, hold them, squeeze them.
Do all the things.
Got to please them.
AEW needs to figure it out. Finally, Big Nick. Tony's on board. Yeah, again, we have all the hope, all the optimism. I don't know if we have that much optimism actually, but we have a lot of hope.
Is
we
this
want to
make or break? Is this make or break?
No, because
like if this does not go well,
but
go ahead.
I don't think it's make or break because we sat here last year and WrestleDream was an absolute bust last year. WrestleDream was a bust, and they've had bad pay-per-views this year. There's just a collection of people that no matter what they do will tell you it's wonderful. So I don't think it's make or break. And as long as the billionaires got all the pennies in the piggy bank, I don't think this is any different than any other half-ass show that we get from this company.
And that's what I was gonna say. Like, as long as Tony Khan has money, the ship will sail. Even if they don't get a TV deal after this TV deal ends, he's gonna figure out a way to buy a streaming company so he can put his stuff on that streaming company. So,
well, yeah, and I don't think it's fully in that sense make or break, but you're starting to get even, diehards, regulars that are saying this ain't worth, the $50-$60, what have you, to pay the pay-per-view. We already know they just signed the deal, but stuff within Warner and Discovery is a little shaky-ish at best. So this, you really need to start to turn the corner to avoid having this be a discussion. Like, you really need to pivot here.
Mm-hmm. That's what becomes my question, and this is kind of my last thought on everything is, again, you have all the money in the world. That's wonderful. You sign a new deal. That's wonderful. But what is rock bottom for your analytics? If people aren't watching, if people aren't buying tickets, at what point are you doing wrestling shows in a gymnasium instead of stadiums or instead of arenas? Like, what is the threshold for you as a company to look at each other and go, man, let's do better? Like, it's got to be frustrating as a performer seeing the other company stack buildings.
Right.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait to watch AEW Shockwave at my local VFW.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, on that wonderful note, whether they're at a VFW or wherever the fuck they are, we are here live watching more live wrestling than anybody else out there. We thank you for being a part of this stream tonight. Make sure you hit like, share, subscribe. Remember, be a friend, tell a friend. Click all the links. Follow us on social. Go check out Anthony's social as well. Don't forget, he does the TNA review better than anybody out there, even those who pretend to be TNA fans, because Lord knows they're not. But that's all I got, gentlemen. Final thoughts from Anthony.
No, I'm good. Just like KJ said, TNA review is back after taking a week off because we had no new original episode of TNA last week. But we are back this week.
Mother Nature throwing off TNA 100%. But yes, be a friend, tell a friend, say something nice. You never know, it might change their life. Our shit is real. Our shit is raw. Our shit is authentic. When you're talking about that wrestling, you're able to put that for life with it.
Come back tomorrow, SmackDown, Rampage, and so much more. See you on the flip side. Good night.